Today's Wednesday, January 10th, 2018, and this is the Elevator Radio Show.
You're tuned in to the Elevator Radio Show, a weekly program dedicated to covering news and information on elevators, escalators, and moving walkways. Produced in the wee hours of the morning, a new show is uploaded every Wednesday, sometimes even before you get out of bed. Listen to some of the comments sent in from our audience.
Rob from New York writes, Tom, are you f***ing insane? You actually get up at 2 a.m. each Wednesday to put this show out? Man, you must love elevators. Tim from Illinois writes, I'm not sure why I listened, but ever since I tuned into the first show back in 2007, I've been addicted. Matt in Texas writes, I like your safety messages, Tom. It's important to remember them each and every day. And he also adds,
when am I going to win the monthly prize pack giveaway?
Ron from California sent this in. Despite your inability to pronounce words in the English language, I tune in each week and am glad that you offer this service to the industry. It's better than Google News alerts. Sarah from Washington writes, love the show, Tom, and look forward to it each week. I'm glad I signed up for the newsletter. You provide a valuable resource for the industry, not only for North America, but worldwide.
Enjoy the show. And now, here's your sleep-deprived host, Tom Seibert.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you, everybody. First and foremost, I want to wish everybody a very happy new year. Hopefully you've enjoyed and survived the holiday season with your family and your friends, and want to send a special thank you out to those of you who were remembered enough. Oh, I don't say that did not make sense. I want to thank those of you who wished me happy birthday on my birthday, which was a week ago Saturday. So thank you for that. Not that everybody knew that. My birthday for me is not a big deal. I spent it alone driving in a car up to Wisconsin, and but I got lots of text messages, which is nice. And while I froze my butt off in negative 18-degree weather, which felt like negative 26, I was warmed by the emails and texts that many of you had sent me. So thank you very much. It feels as if it's been a lot longer than just a week and a half or 2 weeks since we did the last show. Last week had some issues with our sound card, got those fixed today, but probably if you're listening to the show on Wednesday and you came in or you woke up, your computer probably had that reboot screen on it because Microsoft did another update patch or whatever the hell they do every Tuesday morning or every other two, whenever they do it, security stuff. So, but yeah, messed up the sound card. We're okay with that, but regardless, it's all good. We're moving forward and looking forward to another year of producing the Elevator Radio Show for you out there, and it's going to be a good year. Unfortunately, I'm trying to be as upbeat as I can because when I read one of the articles today, which involved a fatality of an elevator person, it just brought me down. I mean, to the point where I literally thought to myself, does none of what we are trying to do make a difference? And I know it does. I think, when you take a step back and you really truly think the messages of safety that I'm trying to get out there, and so many are trying to get out there. It's just hard when you read a story like that where a mechanic was found, dead on top of an elevator car. And you're thinking to yourself, how, and accidents happen. I get that. That's what the nature of an accident is. But when you read that, you think to yourself, how can we change what we do? How can we change things so that doesn't happen ever? I mean, I do not think it is unheard of or a goal that cannot be reached of having zero fatalities. And obviously accidents are a whole different thing, but why not shoot for that? If you don't shoot for it, you're never going to get anywhere. So instead of the skeptics saying, "Oh, there's no way you can have have zero fatality rule or a goal in the elevator industry," is ridiculous. I don't think that is the right attitude to take. And if we don't shoot for something, we're still going to have accidents and fatalities like this. And while details are still not complete regarding the accident in Texas, it doesn't change the fact that an elevator technician or mechanic or somebody in our industry did not go home to their family, and now their family is basically going through the steps of a funeral and all that stuff. So I'm trying to be upbeat for today's show because it's the first show of the year, but it's just like a huge punch. It's a gut punch I feel, and it's awful. It's awful. I've mentioned it before. I have family members in the industry. I would never want any of them to be injured or obviously worse in the industry. It would just totally it would change their family members' lives. So that's all I have to say. So I'm going to keep on pushing for safety, as many of you out there are doing already. Remember it each day, like you're putting on your shoes. It's more than a slogan. It's our industry is inherently dangerous in what we do, and making sure that we're thinking safety each and every day is critical in ensuring those around us are safe, those that are inspecting elevators are safe, those that are riding elevators are safe. It's a whole big circle. So I'll keep pushing on, but it's still not easy to. It's not easy to. It's not an easy show to do today, unfortunately, especially it being the first show of 2018. It's not a good start whatsoever. So anyway, feel free to send your comments over to elevatorradioshow@gmail.com or leave them on the Facebook page if you are part of the Facebookers over there. And I will try to share them if you'd like me to. If not, just let me know, and I will not share them because I get quite a few emails from people that do not want me to share stuff or at least list them as a contributor. And you are protected under the I forgot what it is, not Freedom of Information Act, but you are protected as a source. In case anything comes to litigation purposes, you are totally protected, just so you know. This is a news media program, and that which is shared online and whatever sources are not ever going to be given up. I can promise you that. Anyway, so that's about it. So hope let's move forward and try to get into obviously a better position. Let's work on making sure that this is the first and the last fatality in our industry that we're going to report on 2018 and moving forward. I give that challenge to all of you out there, and I think that's not an unfeasible challenge or goal to reach. So let's make that happen. All right, we'll get into the news content next and have you out of here in no time.
Let this week's news stories give you a lift on what's happening in the vertical transportation arena. Each news segment is organically dug and fresh with news stories of the week. Got lift? If not, stay tuned.
So this week's show is leading with, from the ElPasoProud.com website, contractor found dead in Beaumont Hospital elevator shaft. And this was a contractor with William Beaumont Army Medical died while performing elevator maintenance at the hospital Tuesday afternoon, and apparently it occurred around 12:45 p.m. Contractor was found unresponsive. A witness who contacted the KTSM said the contractor was found on top of the elevator on the 9th floor. The witness claimed that it appeared the man had been electrocuted prior to being found in the elevator shaft. So, but again, this is just speculation. This is just information that was shared, and obviously, we are thinking of the family of the elevator maintenance person, and hopefully we can learn more and learn and make sure things like this don't happen in the future. That's all I can say on that. So it's awful. It's awful. Okay, the Echo, or LiverpoolEcho.co.uk, has an article which titles "Parents Warned After Escalator Swallowed Boy's Foot." The sensationalism in this title is ridiculous. Escalators are not alive, okay? And as long as you keep your feet away from the sides and the comb, plates at the end, lift them up, you're going to be okay. Escalators do not eat little children, do not eat shoes unless you put them in a place where they are, they could be pulled in. So this is a good warning. It is a good notice. If you look at the photograph further down, there's a whole bunch of information, a safety sign for what looks to be a shopping center. indicating, what to do, what not to do on an escalator. So that's the most important thing to do. And the reality is that, news articles like this are ridiculous because they do not highlight any type of safe practice that could prevent an accident like this from happening. Instead, it's some sensational piece of garbage that literally, just makes people terrified of equipment in general or whatever, and it just kills me. So let me tell you how I really feel. Okay, Fox5NewYork.com reported that 6 people were taken in hospitals in serious conditions after the elevator they were in plunged down at least 2 floors in a Manhattan building. This apparently happened right after the ball dropped in Times Square to ring in the new year. Not a whole lot of information has been released yet. I'm sure many of you out there have information on what may or may not have happened on this, but New York still continues to kind of plunge, or plunge is not a word, but I could create it as a word or invent it. No, plunge it. I'm not sure where the Elevator Safety Act is in the legislative branches for New York, and I have a feeling, I'm not quite sure it has actually passed or made any headway in that. So anyway, I'm sure many of you know what happened in that situation. Not that I need to know that at all. Next news article, newsfix.com or cw39.com. I'm going to let everybody watch this on their own. But again, I don't mean to be, what's the word, insensitive to this, but only in America could you sue everybody and everybody after you've driven your motorized wheelchair down an escalator with the result of you not living anymore. And I don't mean to make light of what may or may not have happened in this. I have a concern about the attorney in the news article that talks about, the fact of what this poor 75-year-old woman was or was not doing when she got to the escalator. I mean, in the report that was online, they have him quoting that he says that she thought the escalator was the elevator, and then when she realized it wasn't, she tried to back up but couldn't and then went down. So how in the world could anybody make that assumption when she's no longer with us? So it's ridiculous. And the reality is that perhaps if this poor woman was known to have had, maybe some type of mental condition or confusion or whatever, if that was or was not stated, special care should have been taken on that. And again, it's a terrible tragedy. It's really it's terrible. But the reality is that when you drive yourself down, when you are at the fault of your own injury, how do you look for monetary gain to A, bring the person back, or B, make it right? Anyway. Next news article, CBC News. New Brunswick has an article, seniors lose water elevator service in New Brunswick housing building in St. John. All I want to say here is that we as a people, I don't know if this is true in Canada or not, I feel like we do not do a good enough job at caring for our elderly in the United States, whether it's in the hospitals or in a nursing home or whatever. I feel as if, and I'm speaking from experience here, I feel as if we send them off and we just don't care about them. I mean, I think it was the Japanese who basically take care of their parents. Like, they come back and live with them and they change their diaper and everything. I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I just don't think we care enough, and I think we should. I don't know. Maybe that's my own personal opinion. I don't know. Okay, news article from Ahmedabad Mirror and IndiaTimes.com has an article. It's a really good news article highlighting, making sure safety is the first and foremost priority when it comes to elevators. But the title of this is, "Do not let kids below 10 years old use lift alone." And why put an age on that? Are you kidding me? So if a kid is 10 or 11, he can use the lift? I mean, I don't know. If you want to ride an ATV, an all-terrain vehicle, or I'll just put it, or a snowmobile, or a boat, motorized boat, drive one, I guess, as a kid, you need to take a safety class. Maybe we should put kids through safety classes so they know what the hell they're doing. Can you imagine making kids go through an escalator safety class I mean, they have these Safety Town USAs that are in our village where, police and firefighters set stuff up and they get their bikes checked and all that. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't know why 10 years is the magic number on that. And then you look at this elevator, it looks terrifying. Look at the photo with this gentleman in it that has his leather jacket on. But they're talking about the space that's in between the a swing door and a scissor gate, and how a 6-year-old was killed. How about make sure you put baffles in there, make sure that the distance is not more than a child can sit or fit in there, and then that's a good thing to do as well. So, man, it's I mean, some of this stuff seems like it'd be pretty practical to do, but at the same time, I don't really know. But still, yeah. 10 years old? What's the magic number of 10? I've known some 16-year-olds that act like they're 6. So anyway, next news article, Orlando hotel owner claims repairman sabotaged elevators. Haven't seen an article like this ever. Not to say that it hasn't happened, because I wouldn't doubt that programs and softwares have either been held back or changed or whatever. I don't know. I know it's illegal to do this, but some people that own elevators are not nice, and some people that maintain elevators are not nice, and some contractors or elevator companies are not nice. Never heard of this company before, but information is in the news article. This is going to drag out for a long time, and it is going to cost money. Yeah, money. The attorneys are going to make money. I'll let everybody read this. It's a little difficult to follow, but the long and short of it is that I think, and I don't quote me, don't bring me any lawsuit, but apparently there was some issue with payment, and so software was uploaded to minimize or make the elevators not run, kind of extortion, until equipment was paid for. But the reality is I remember hearing stories from my dad where you'd put equipment in and then you wouldn't get paid for it, and there were some situations that they would go back in and take the equipment out because, in all honesty, it wasn't paid for. And that goes hand in hand with equipment that carries a warranty. Most manufacturers will not cover an item under warranty unless it has been paid for. So if you think you're getting off the hook by not paying for equipment that may not be working correctly due to a warranty type issue, you're probably going to be up the creek without a paddle. So this is a pretty involved article. I'm kind of surprised that it got this kind of press, but I think it's just interesting. Okay, next news article, Chicago's last manual elevator. This is bullshit. Oh, sorry. This is not right. Excuse me. This is not Chicago's last manual elevator, but it probably is one of the nicest ones or the coolest ones in the Fine Arts Building if you ever want to go and visit it. This is kind of a neat one. We have our elevator seat in it, but this is not the last manual elevator in Chicago, so this is inaccurately reported, but still cool to see one elevator operator, I guess for that matter, being shared in that. And I think this story is kind of a piggyback from the one in New York that was done regarding looking for the last manual elevator operators in New York a while ago, which is pretty cool and had a nice photo essay. Okay, moving towards a more dysfunctional world, CBS News has, or CBS.CNBC.com has an article talking about hotels using robots. Okay, sorry about that. I got to get off this page where a robot comes to your room, delivers anything you need, and this is happening around the country. I spoke to an elevator contractor at the Chicago Elevator Association meeting who was involved in a project that tied the elevators into the robots. But if you can imagine, if you think our children today are socially inept, they are. They are not. They are. They're moving towards a world where human contact and human intervention is not going to be something that's normal, unfortunately. And robots like this are going to continue us going in this direction. So if you see an elevator come, or I'm sorry, if you see a robot come to one of your hotels to deliver toiletries, that's probably why. But I don't think you have to tip a robot. So, and right now it's just more of a it's more of a I don't know what you call it. It's early yet. Sorry. Intriguing thing, I guess, than anything else. Okay, next news article. I'm looking forward to this report being released. rdnewsnow.com has an article talking about Ontario delays release report, elevators pending plan action. So this is a independent report that was that has been put together by a third party to examine the issues with elevators, and it has been extended in terms of, there's a lot in here that they tried to capture, but unfortunately I'm not going to go into the details because I don't know enough about any of it. So, but they are going to, they need some more information, more news before they make more public. There's some information that may lead to reasons why they don't want to make it public yet, but you can read about that. Link is in the show notes, and as soon as that is made public, or there's a plan of action, then which makes sense, we can kind of go over that or cover that when it comes live. Okay, fire was put out an elevator shaft at a La Quinta Inn. This was in Danbury, wherever that is. I'm not sure which Danbury it is, but they don't cite exactly what caused the fire. Might have been a motor, I'm not quite sure, but everybody was okay. Here's another injury in on the news. Construction worker injured in fall down elevator shaft.
Azores Airlines get you to some amazing destinations this winter.
Okay. Anyway, and they it was a construction worker, not necessarily an elevator contractor, but somebody that fell down an elevator shaft. Again, I've seen some barriers on websites before of, I mean, like, I've seen barriers that have been the ones that are the horses on the street to cover a opening in a new construction project. It's just unbelievable. Some of the stuff that's still being done out there. It's dangerous. So, and again, I'm not saying this is what happened in this case, but still, the outcome is awful. Workers lucky to be alive. Last news article of the show: P4G Capital announces investment in unique elevator interiors. There's lots of money out there in investment groups, and they want to buy stuff because the return on their money in the bank and whatnot is just not where it should be. But if you want to find out more about that, link is in the show notes, and this was a Newswire press release. And that's pretty much going to do it for the show, everybody. As always, I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been my absolute pleasure. And remember safety. I made it through the show. And let's just hope that each and every day we get up, we are thinking about going back to our family. As much as they might drive us crazy, they're still our family. And we not being in their lives would affect it more than you can ever know. And more than you'd ever want to know. So let's not take chances. Let's make sure that we're all going home each and every night. Okay? All right. That does it. We'll be back next week with another show, 493. We're creeping up on 500. And be safe out there. Stay warm. And we'll talk to you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.